This Tron cryptocurrency debacle should be a good lesson learned for a lot of you. And I know a lot of you are in pain in Tron right now because peak hype was at peak price. All of a sudden, I was inundated by emails, comments, posts on Facebook. What do you think of Tron? What do you think of Tron? Everybody loving Tron. Now, I had never heard of Tron until I got bombarded with all of these questions. But there seems to be a pattern that when I get bombarded in a certain way, and even the type of questions that people are asking, I can tell, ooh, this is coin of the week. This is pump of the week. Soon to be dump of the month. And so I was very skeptical. I didn't even bother looking into it. But I got so many requests, I decided to look into it. And it looks like, unfortunately, I didn't warn anyone ahead of time because I'm only looked into it now. But just, this is not that hard to avoid if you do some research, okay? So, Tron, now I don't want to say Tron is a scam. It may not be a scam, and most businesses fail, not because they're scams and they have criminals. It's because people have dreams and it doesn't work out. You know, most people start restaurants, most restaurants fail. Why? Not because they're spitting in the food, but because it's a tough business. So this Justin's son, best case scenario, and it probably is the case that he is a smart, hard-working guy who happens to be really good at marketing, okay? You know, all of his claims, best case scenario, worst case scenario is a scam, he's lying, created all these phony things. Best case scenario is, for example, he went to a school, I believe, that was founded by Jack Ma. So he says he's Jack Ma's protege. You know, maybe there's a way you could say that. That's good marketing, right? Created an app in China. You know, there's probably an app. It was probably okay. Some people used it. You know, he says it's the greatest app in all of China. Again, good marketing. Creating this cryptocurrency, whatever, Tron's 10-year plan, dreams that they have. Best case scenario that they actually have a team of decently smart people who, they started working on it like a few weeks ago. But they're actually going to work hard for several years. I mean, to have a 10-year plan in any industry is pretty crazy. But to have a 10-year plan in the crypto space now, that again, it's not scam. That's just naivete. I mean, that's just insanity to me. I mean, so anyways, but that they have a plan and they're actually going to build something that maybe has some value. That, again, is the best case scenario. But they only started working on it a couple weeks ago. So the question is, is this worth making a bet on? You have to look, remember, you look at market cap. So when people were emailing me and messaging me off the hook, at that point, there was a time when Tron was worth about the same, very close to something like Stellar Networks. I know I talk about Stellar a lot, but it's an easy example. You have a founder, it hits all my metrics. You have a founder who has a clear track record of having many successes versus Justin Sun, who's a younger guy. Or you could say, well, the app was a success. But anyways, the cryptocurrency platform, Stellar's been up and running for 3 years, now working with IBM, doing lots of great things. Tron, they started writing code weeks ago. You can't value those the same. And there's a few lessons learned here. One is, please remember, and you can see this in your own life, there is a big difference between having completed something, having actually done something, and dreaming about or saying you're going to do something. There's a huge gap between the two, and you cannot value them the same. So when Tron says, we're going to do this, until they've done it, it's not as good as a company who's actually done it. This may sound obvious when I'm saying it, but I see this so much. I see so many crypto projects, because one of my filters is I don't deal with it until it's launched. But I see so many projects where, they're going to launch in a year, but if you read their website, they say this, our platform, our crypto, whatever, it does this, it does that, it does, and they talk about it in the present tense, but it hasn't launched yet. I mean, it's sort of so much confidence that it's going to work. It does this, it does that, as if it already is doing these things. If it hasn't launched yet, it's not doing those things. And I could even go further with the whole point of, even if something is doing something, it doesn't mean it can do that at scale. Even if something is doing something before it's decentralized, it doesn't mean it will work the same way when it's decentralized. So just even launching, or it's launched on a test net, or it's launched, it is decentralized, but it has no volume. There is a big difference between plans and completed plans. And you need to make a distinction between the two. And Tron is probably the ultimate example that I've seen recently of dreams being considered true, and then compared to something that actually exists and is real. So, but my other point I wanted to make is there's some algorithm that people have figured out, because it happened also with Verge, where somehow there's some sort of hype marketing promo thing that gets all the newbies off of their ass to buy at the same time at a high price. I don't know what that algo is, but if you bought Tron and or Verge at the high, wherever you're getting your information, stop going there. And maybe you could go back and look at what you read, look at what you looked at that got you to buy, and look at what it was that they said that motivated you, and check that. Because it used to be, I used to watch, I enjoy Fast Money on CNBC. Fun show. But it's dangerous. When I watch that show, as soon as the show is over, I'm dying to do something stupid. I'm dying to buy something that's not a good time to buy. I'm dying to sell something that I should hold. That show motivates you to do stupid shit. Now, it's informative. If you just watch it, it's interesting. But gotta watch out for that stuff. So, Tron, and you look at the chart now, it looks like a classic pump and dump. And people are like, is it going to come back? How the hell is it going to come back? They don't have anything. It's not like they're going to have a deal. There's even the plan that they were promoting is that maybe they're going to launch something like in years. And they're not going to have major deals with companies based on something that they've been writing for a couple weeks. Basically, this was an angel investor project that raised billions. And if you're one of the people who gave money to him, listen, hopefully, lesson learned and you didn't lose too much money. But, another point here from me that I learned, very important to understand the difference between business, running a business, and investing. In business, we learn by doing, because you can't, if you're running a business, whatever you're doing, it's, usually you're in a niche, you're doing something new, you can't get a book. When I started e-commerce on the web in 95, I couldn't get a book on how to optimize my page. There was no such thing. And if you're starting a new business, whatever it is, you're opening up a new restaurant, you can't get a book on how to make that restaurant good. I mean, certain general themes you can read about restaurants, but if you're coming up with certain recipes, it's like you need to be unique, you need to experiment, you learn by doing, you're executing every day. That's how business is. Investing is all about reading, all about just having knowledge, and it's not learned by doing. So when you buy Tron at a high, and then and it goes all the way down to nothing. I mean, it looks like a classic chart, right? It goes up and goes down and just, sits at some low number for ever, or a long time. Investing is not a good thing to do. Learn by doing. You learn by reading. So if you're a newbie and you've got caught late in a few of these pump and dump shows, don't do more. I don't know. The lesson, because I'm talking from my own history. I'm a very learn by doing guy, and in business it's been amazing. But when it comes to investing, learn by doing is very expensive. And I've learned later in life, reading is what makes you a good investor. So, yeah, and one other point too, is everybody's looking, it's supposedly this, these small, and it's true, that if you get in super early on something that nobody's talking about, it goes to the moon. You can have these amazingly huge returns. The problem is, that means you're getting in when nobody's talking about it. I was kind of early with Stellar. It was very boring. Nobody was talking about it, And then all of a sudden we had our moment in the sun here, and whatever. So, but that kind of thing, getting in really early on a really small coin is so hard. Meanwhile, look at Ethereum. I was looking at the transactions history. They did 5,000. They were doing 5,000 a day. A year later, 50,000 a day. A year later, like a few months ago, 500,000 a day. The end of 2018, they'll be doing 5 million transactions a day. That's real. That's amazing. That's 1,000% growth. You don't have to go digging deep into the earth to find an unknown jewel when there's one sitting right in front of your face. Meanwhile, Ethereum the last couple of months is up, 300 or 400%. I'm sorry. That's not a bad return. It doesn't have to be that difficult. You don't have to discover the ultimate unknown. You can just hold Ethereum a lot easier. A lot easier. And then there's some smaller coins that actually have something launched that's been out there for years, and it's real. Okay? Thank you. That's my Tron rant.